This is the L2C Media Network, and this is the Steve Baxley Sports Final, brought to you by the L2C Media Network. Now, with the details, the headlines, and all sorts of great sports action. Here's Steve, the Baxman Baxley. Harry, welcome back. How you doing, everybody? Welcome, one and all, to the Corsican Ball. There we go. Hey, it's great to see you with us, R3. How you doing? Okay, guys, what's up? What's crack-a-lackin'? Steve the Baxman Baxley, and I'm here to say it's been a really great day, and I'm glad we got sports to talk about today because, frankly, there's nothing I like more than talking about sports, and I do love sports. Anyway, let's get on with it. We got a lot to tell you about, of course, college basketball, college football, and I got to read some of this stuff to you. You remember Bally's and Sinclair? They're like this now. We have the presentation template, or we have the presentation. We're just going to read to you some of what it has on it. Just some. But, wow. It's pretty much interesting when you look at it. And we'll look at it. But right now, let's look at this. It's sports. And okay, so I screwed it up, but hey, it was there. Somewhat of a, I'm going to say it, mini upset, although it was nice to get some revenge. We'll explain that. Right now, let's get to two games. One's about to go final, if it hasn't already. So we'll just do it like this. Final score, St. Mary over Nicole State, 73-50. And right now, in the second half, 20th ranked Kentucky and 7th ranked Kansas are tied right now, 51-51. If the score, we'll give you the final score as soon as that goes final. Speaking of finals, 17th ranked Texas over Indiana, 66-44. USC, a 79-53 winner over BYU. Purdue, a 93-50 winner over Oakland. Bryant, a 93-85 winner over New Hampshire. UC Riverside, down by the Riverside, a 57-42 winner over Washington. 14th ranked North Carolina defeated Stanford 6-7, 6-3. St. Francis, Pennsylvania lost to 15th ranked Virginia 76-51. 4th ranked Wisconsin over Green Bay 82-42. 9th ranked Creighton, a 94-67 winner over Nebraska Omaha. 12th ranked Villanova over Hartford 87-53. VMI over Longwood 84-71. East Carolina over NC Wesleyan 91-62. Morgan State over Lincoln, well over Lincoln, 102-94. Louisville over Western Kentucky, 75-54. Navy, where you can sail the 7 seas. Navy, where you can do what you well please. 78-71 winners over Georgetown. St. Peter defeated Stony Brook, 82-68. Toledo, a 70-61 winner over Cleveland State. Oklahoma State, a 70-62 winner over Marquette. Florida International, a 96-76 winner over Central Michigan. Illinois Chicago, a 66-50 winner over Valparaiso. North Carolina AT&T, a 70-63 winner over Charleston Southern. South Alabama, a 86-47 winner over the good folks of Emmanuel. Providence, a 63-62 winner over Davidson. Dayton, a 66-63 winner over Eastern Illinois. Stephen F. Austin, a 102-57 winner over Le Tourneau University, 102-57. And here it is, our mini upset. Eighth-ranked Michigan State defeated and got a little bit of nice revenge over sixth-ranked Duke, 75-69. Bing that bell. Bing it again, please. As you know, 69 is a workable number. Hampton defeated George Washington, 82-78. George Washington forced to never cross the Delaware again. Bradley over Judson, 105-32. Samford over Covenant, 97-73. Abilene Christian over Howard Payne, 81-51. And believe me, Howard was in pain after that game. Nebraska over South Dakota, 76-69. Hey. Grand Canyon over Mississippi Valley State, 88-49. Alabama, an 86-74 winner over the University of Las Vegas. Here are the list of games that were canceled, postponed, or otherwise not played. Central Arkansas, Missouri State postponed. St. Andrews and Appalachian State canceled. Townsend and Maryland canceled. Oh boy. Arlington Baptist and Sam Houston State canceled. Ionia Buffalo canceled. Northwest State. Did I get that right? Yeah, Northwest State. Thank you. And Louisiana Monroe canceled. Texas A&M Commerce and North Texas. They were also canceled. So there you go. That's your college hoopgasm for tonight. Obviously, there will be more. Speaking of basketball, the B. By the way, number 20, University of Kansas, and number 7, Kansas, tied at 53, 3:24 remaining. With that game goes final, we will bring you the final score. But now, let's talk for a moment about football and college football, and precisely the college football playoff rankings. As I drop my little friend, there we go. Now I've picked him up. Okay, as you know, new top 25, the college football playoff rankings. And do we have them? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Can we give them all to you? Why, of course we can, sunshine. You know we got to. So let's do it, Pruitt. Let's give you the CPF rankings. If we got them, yes, we do. Good. Smooth running show tonight, smooth running. And here we go. This is going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It is the top 25. It is the college football playoff rankings from December the 1st. For December the 1st, we go number 25. And we let go, and the teleprompter goes bananas. Okay, come on. There we go. Number 25, Louisiana. Number 24, Tulsa. Number 23, Oregon. Number 22, Washington. Number 21, Marshall. 20 is USC. 19, Iowa. 18, Coastal Carolina. 17, North Carolina. Wisconsin, 16. Oklahoma State, 15. Northwestern, 14. BYU, 13. Indiana, 12. Oklahoma, 11. Miami, 10. Ninth is Iowa State. Eighth is Georgia. Seventh is Cincinnati. Sixth is Florida. Fifth, Texas A&M. Fourth, Ohio State. Third, Clemson. Second, Notre Dame. And Alabama once again gets the first spot. There you go. That's your college football playoff rankings for the month, or for December 1st. Not bad. Alabama, Notre Dame, Clemson, Ohio State. But as they say, don't move a muscle. Why? Because you never know what could be coming down the pike as things start to roll on here. Okay, now we've done that, but we still got more sport for you, and we're going to bring you all that right here, right now on the broadcast. So let's go to, is it 2Z, 3Z, 4Z? Okay, 2:26 left. Kansas is leading University of Kansas State over University of Kansas 60-55. We'll continue to bring you that in a moment. And get this, as we go to college football, more. Notre Dame made history officially booking an ACC championship game appearance. Believe it. It's good. Its first ever season as a conference member. The Fighting Irish will be on the field on Saturday, December 19th in Charlotte, with a chance not only to play its way into the college football playoff, but to win a conference championship for the first time in the program history. The fact that Notre Dame will be playing in the ACC championship game is not as surprising as the way the news became official. The Fighting Irish had 2 games on the schedule, at home against Syracuse this weekend and at Wake Forest on December 12th. But the latest adjustment from the ACC to the league schedule has removed that December 12th game against the Demon Deacons from the slate. That means Notre Dame's regular season will conclude against Syracuse, and another fallout from the schedule adjustment is the declaration that Clemson's regular season will conclude at Virginia Tech on Saturday, with no plans of scheduling a 10th ACC game for the Tigers on December 12th. The ACC said this will be done, quote, to preserve the integrity of the ACC football championship game by evaluating each of the 3 teams in contention, Clemson, Miami, and Notre Dame, based on a 9-game conference schedule, end quote, instead of the 10-game conference schedule set by the league prior to the season. Miami is scheduled to play at Duke on Saturday and host North Carolina on December 12th. The Hurricanes need Clemson to lose at Virginia Tech in order to keep their hopes on making the ACC championship game alive. As it since Notre Dame has already clinched one of the 2 spots, and Clemson will get the other with a win in Blacksburg. With no divisions, the ACC decided the championship game participants for the 15-team standings will be determined by winning percentage and with a certain threshold of games played in order to participate. Now, all 3 teams in contention have had at least 1 game postponed due to COVID protocol, so the ACC is deciding to cut all their schedules short, so there's no little funny business going on. Thank you, boys. And no discrepancy in games played. Now, this decision was made based on a recommendation from the league's football subcommittee and voted on by the ACC athletic directors. Good bunch of guys, don't you know? Good bunch. Bunch of good old folk. Okay, so there's that story. But is there more? You better believe there's more. Otherwise, we'd run about half hour short. So let's get to it and give you the hot seat. That's right. Detroit, as you know, got rid of Matt Patricia, and the sidecar, of course, was getting rid of Bobby Quinn. So now, for a while, reportedly the general manager position is going to be held by 4 people. Yep, and they're still looking for a coach. Anyway, the 2020 NFL regular season is approaching its conclusion, and to say it's been a roller coaster is a major understatement given complications stemming from the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, along with a rash of severe injuries to top players around the league. The NFL is dealing with a slew of unprecedented issues as it works feverishly to keep the train from going off the track. It has created difficulties for many teams and, as such, their head coaches. But not every coach can use the pandemic to excuse away poor play, especially if they entered the season already teetering on the brink of disaster within their respective franchises. Coach Doug Marrone of the Jacksonville Jaguars and Coach Adam Gase with the New York Jets. Now, with Dan Quinn and Bill O'Brien already having been fired by the Atlanta Falcons and Houston Texans, respectfully, weeks ago, followed by Matt Patricia getting the axe 2 days after an embarrassing loss by the Detroit Lions, that marks 3 NFL coaches who entered the season on the hot seat. They didn't survive the 2020 season. Now, there is still a list of questions regarding others who should feel anything but comfy in the final 5 weeks. There can be no doubt that's the case when it comes to the 5 individuals that we mentioned. And every single one of them is operating on borrowed time. So here we go. Number 1, Adam Gase for the Jets. In 2019, all it took was a defeat of the also unimpressive New York Giants of 2019 to secure Gase's job, with team owner Christopher Johnson stating unequivocally there will be no changes at the head coach position last season, despite early struggles. Johnson was clear that Gase would return for 2020, and he has. It's not the weird part, though, considering the team finished with a 6-2 record in their last 8 games, with Sam Darnold returned from a bout with mononucleosis. Anyway, that last part was indeed weird, but hey, just stick with it. Things are made truly strange by General Manager Joe Douglas recently marrying himself to Gase for the long haul and going on to absolve him for much of the blame for what's happened on the field. Before a coach who has obvious struggles with top players, Douglas needs to reconsider his decision. For example, what was up with the relationship between Gase, G-A-S-E, and all-pro running back Le'Veon Bell? And is Darnold suddenly not good, or is that attributable to Gase? Bell has now been released long after Jamal Adams was traded, both after having very public issues with Gase, pushing the Jets deeper into the talentless abyss, currently sitting at 0-11, 6 games before we can put them on the Tower of Tepidity, the mountain of the mountain of, well, I don't know what we call it, but the mountain of morose. Anyway, we'll figure something out, but the Tower of Tepidity is a good thing to be on top of. Or is that the mountain of tepidity? No, either way, it's a mountain. It's a mountain for losers who haven't won a single game. The Jets are now 7-20 in Gase's first 27 games as their head coach, and an offense that was ranked 31st in the league in 2019 is now 32nd, just averaging 13.8 points and 267.8 yards per game. I think we can all bye-bye and, hey, how about this guy, Matt Patricia? He'd be a good coach for you. How about Doug Marrone for the Jags? Seriously, any NFL fan base deserves better than what the Jags have been producing, or rather not producing, in recent seasons. For most of the clubs, the organization has been in a big old tailspin. The only thing that has been exciting for at least Jacksonville is the pro wrestling promotion that Khan's son runs, All Elite Wrestling. It's given Jacksonville and, in fact, Daily Place and the Jaguars football stadium a lot of good publicity. The team, on the other hand, well, the organization has been in a tailspin since appearing in the AFC Championship game following a promising and exciting 10-6 season in 2017. That was a promise, but it took an instant for things to implode, and in Oh, grand Irwin Allen-esque fashion. Irwin Allen, famous for movies like The Towering Inferno, The Poseidon Adventure, the 2020 U.S. elections. Okay, that last one I made up. The decision to extend quarterback Blake Bortles was not met well by some players, and the club has since been trapped in toxicity. It's led to the shedding of several All-Pro and Pro Bowl talents, leaving the Jags a shell of what they once were in 2020. And it kind of looks like their coach could be a shell of something. Stay tuned. How about this? Vic Fangio for the Broncos. Less said about him, the better. It's not looking good. And the Broncos, well, they're like Avis. They're trying harder, but not hard enough. Matt Nagy for the Bears. I don't want to say anything about this, but, well, he's a talented head coach, but much like Lucille Ball with Ricky, with her husband Ricky Ricardo, Matt Nagy has got some splaining to do. What has happened to the Bears after the humiliation suffered at the hands of the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football? How Nagy still has his job, I'll have no idea. I mean, the Bears have fallen from a 5-1 start to 5-6 after losing 5 consecutive games and in worsening fashion. They had 2 weeks to prepare for the Pack, but they played like they just didn't care, leading to the blistering post-game comments from Nagy about effort before circling the blame back on himself. Well, those pants of Nagy's must be burning. And, well, he may not last long if he keeps losing. A strong finish will all but delete Nagy from the list, but if they lose 2 more games, you might as well just give Nagy his, Giorgio gift certificate and about $1,000 spending money. How about Anthony Lynn of the Chargers? The reality, Los Angeles has been ravaged by injury, and it's not easy to overcome the loss of Derwin James, Mike Pouncey, Austin Eckler, and the like, and that's a key driver behind the inability to get the job done this year for Lynn. But as often has been said, good head coaches figure out ways to win games. Let's just hope Anthony Lynn is one of those good head coaches. Otherwise, his head will be on a platter and somebody else will get that job. Yes. All right. And just when you thought things were back, the world was back on its axis. Of course, tomorrow, Wednesday afternoon football, it will be the Ravens versus the Steelers. And, despite the positive COVID tests, Ravens are flying into Pittsburgh. Now, why could this game make NFL history? You may be asking yourself. Well, we're going to tell you why. If the game between the Ravens and Steelers actually gets played on Wednesday, knock on wood, it will be. Let's be honest, there's no guarantee that'll happen. Then we could see NFL history made in 2020. If the game does take place, that means the NFL will have at least one game played on all 7 days of the week over the course of the season. During a normal year, you almost never get to see a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday game get played. But this normal year, and all 3 of those things are expected to happen. Actually, the Tuesday game already happened, and that came back in Week 5 when the Titans beat the Bills 42-16. It was supposed to be played on Sunday, but it got moved to Tuesday when after the Titans were hit by COVID-19 outbreak. The game between Buffalo and Tennessee marked just the second time in 70 years There's also a schedule to see another Tuesday game in Week 13 when the Ravens host the Cowboys. As for Wednesday games, they're just as rare as the dodo bird or a beautiful woman wanting to go out with me. Now, since 1950, the only time the NFL has played a Wednesday game came during the 2012 regular season opener. The Giants and Cowboys were originally scheduled to play on Thursday, but the game got bumped to Wednesday, so it didn't conflict with President Obama's speech at the Democratic National Convention that year. Now, when it comes to Friday games, those are actually more common than you might think. Not only have there been 3 of them played since the beginning of the new millennia, there's actually one on the schedule this year and has nothing to do with the pandemic. Vikings and Saints are scheduled to play the NFL's only Christmas game this year. And if you look at the calendar, you notice that December 25th is on a Friday. As long as the Vikings, Saints, and Ravens Steelers both get played, then the NFL will see its first season ever with at least one game on each day of the week. We'll keep you abreast. By the way, it is supposed to be Wednesday on NBC at 3:40. So that means any one of you who, especially here in the Lansing-Jackson area, if you like Studio 10, you'll hate the preemption. News at 5, 5:30, and 6. Take a hike. So the only news game in town for Lansing-Jackson viewers will be WLNS TV6. I love it. Not just saying that because Channel 6 is one of our favorite stations here on the broadcast, but there you go. Okay, well, how's this for a shocker? Apparently, the Christmas slate was given out. Oh, you don't believe us? Oh, you're going to love this. Here are the NBA's Christmas Day games. They were leaked. That's right. Christmas is the marquee day on the NBA's regular season schedule, but it is especially important for the 2020-2021 season, with the season tipping off on December 22nd, 2 months later than usual. Christmas Day will serve as sort of an opening ceremony for the season, and as such, the league has loaded the holiday with some of its biggest matchups. The following 5 games have been tentatively chosen for that blessed event, according to ESPN's baby holiday, Adrian Wojnarowski. The New Orleans Pelicans take on the Miami Heat at noon, Golden State Warriors and Milwaukee Bucks at 2:30, Brooklyn Nets and Boston Celtics at 5, Dallas Mavericks and Los Angeles Lakers at 8, and the Clippers and Nuggets at 10:30. Now, the league's entire schedule has not yet been released. The schedule for the first half of the season is expected to be announced shortly, but the second half will have to wait in case the NBA needs to leave some extra time to make up games missed because of COVID-19. A separate slate of marquee games is expected for opening night on December 22nd, and a month later on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, January 19th. The league typically offers a full day of games with several meaningful matchups, maybe 1 or 2 meaningless. Both Christmas acting as sort of a second opening day, the league needed to nail the matchups it put on the board to help fans reclimate to basketball so quickly after last season's conclusion. They've done so with this slate, fitting all 4 of last season's conference finalists, 2 returning contenders, and a boatload of superstars on a single day on the calendar. Now, far be it for us giving a ranking, but we do so anyway. Boston Celtics, Brooklyn Nets, that's the 3rd best. Denver Nuggets, Los Angeles Clippers, about 4th best. Miami Heat, New Orleans Pelicans, about number 2. How about the Bucks and Golden State Warriors? About number 5. So what would be? Well, I'm going to say it. I kind of like the Clippers. Well, let's see. Yeah, there's book. Los Angeles Lakers, Dallas Mavericks. I'd say number 2. Of course, the Clippers. There we are. Clippers Nuggets. I'd give them about number 4. Golden State 3. New Orleans Pelicans. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. New Orleans Pelicans, Miami Heat, 5th. I know I'm just rattling off numbers, but let's put it this way. The Lakers, Mavericks, they're pretty good. Not good for number 1, but we'll just make them that anyway. So, huzzah on that. By the way, Ricada Law Channel, Nick Rick at midnight Eastern, 11 Centrale. Okay. And it is a final. Kansas University or Kansas State. Yeah, KU defeated UK 65-62. Let's get going. Let's talk rumors. And the Hot Stove League is not yet up and running per se, but the winter meetings, which will be held remotely, are less than a week away, and that should really fire up the old hot stove, as 9 of the top 10 free agents remain unsigned. In the meantime, the expectation is that things will start to pick later this week, as the non-tender deadline, which is tomorrow night, ought to encourage a flurry of activity. Here's some rumors. Do you take them? Red Sox. The Red Sox, fresh off sabotaging their roster in order to get under the luxury tax threshold, are ready to become relevant again. And one essential step is fortifying the rotation. On that front, John Morosi of NLB.com gives us this. The Red Sox are showing interest in free agent Corey Kluber, who makes his home in Boston. 34-year-old said to be progressing well from the Torres major muscle strain that shortened his 2020 season, is expected to throw bullpen sessions this month. Ooh la la. And as you can see, with Kluber barely pitched at all in his one and likely only season with the Rangers, as Morosi indicates, that was owing to shoulder problems. The prior season, a broken forearm limited Kluber to just 35 2/3, largely ineffective innings with Cleveland. All that said, he isn't far removed from pitching at a Cy Young level, and assuming he's healthy again, he should have a solid market this offseason. If Kluber looks good in those aforementioned bullpen sessions, then Boston will have company in pursuit of the veteran right-hander. Wednesday's non-tender deadline is quickly approaching, and the Cubs' third baseman Chris Bryant won't be one of the players non-tendered. According to John Heyman of MLB Network, the Cubs will consider trades for Bryant, Heyman notes. Mike Azeska, Mike Axia, Accessa, include Bryant as part of his non-tender deadline preview, which ain't bad. Bryant, who is a year away from free agency, still appears more likely than not to have played in his final game with the Cubs. Heyman also notes that the Cubs, who are set on shedding salary this winter, could non-tender Kyle Schwarber. The Mets have reached a 2-year deal with Trevor May, according to multiple reports. May 31st. May, the 31-year-old, finished the 2020 season with a 3.86 ERA, a 1.16 whip, and 38 strikeouts in 23 1/3 innings. That's 24 games for the Twins. Now, May's 14.66 strikeouts in 9 innings in 2020 ranked as 7th best among all relievers. He's ranked as the 37th best free agent on the top 60 free agent list from CBS Sports. May didn't have a set role with the Twins bullpen, filling in as the middle, setup, and closer spots since undergoing Tommy John surgery that forced him to miss the 2017 season. May has notched a thank you very much, 3.19 ERA mark and shown improved velocity. Now, May did not allow a single earned run in his final 8 appearances, 7 2/3 inning pitched of the 2020 shortened season. The Mets could use some bullpen help after finishing in the bottom half of the league for ERA 4.60 and FIP 4.74 last season. Dellin Betances Reyes Familia and Edwin Diaz all struggled at times for the Mets. The club blew 7 saves during last year's abbreviated season and had 27 blown saves during the 2019 season. The Red Sox and starting pitcher Eduardo Rodriguez have agreed to a salary of $8.3 million for the 2021 season ahead of the non-tender deadline, according to Mark Feinstein of MLB.com. The deal is worth the same amount as his 2020 salary. The 27-year-old left-hander did not play in the 2020 season because of complications following his bout with the coronavirus. He was diagnosed with myocarditis, or an inflammation of the heart muscle, per the Mayo Clinic definition. He did not opt out of the abbreviated season. Rather, he was shut down by the team. But in 2019, he had a 3.81 ERA, 132 WHIP, and 213 strikeouts in 203 and one-third innings in 34 games he started. That man could make a team feel so good. Okay, we are at 15 minutes past the hour of midnight. Yes, midnight. In college football news, wow. This is somewhat of a sad way of ending your career. Tennessee linebacker Kivon Bennett has been let's try again. Tennessee linebacker Kivon Bennett has been dismissed from the team after he was arrested on weapons and drug charges during a traffic stop on Tuesday morning. Bennett was pulled over in Knoxville, Tennessee, and officers allegedly discovered 44.9 grams of marijuana, 58 plastic bags, and a handgun in his vehicle, according to the arrest report. 24/7 Sports reported. Bennett has been charged with felony marijuana possession and possession of a firearm during commission or attempt to commit a felony. He has also been charged with misdemeanor possession of a firearm and possession of drug paraphernalia. His absence is truly big for a Volunteers team that lost 5 straight games. The 6'2", 245-pound junior has 25 tackles on the season and leads the team in tackles for loss 7.5 and sacks 4.5. He had 5 tackles for loss over the last 2 games, including 3 against Auburn on November 21st. Last time the Volunteers hit the field. It couldn't have come at a worse time, too. The Volunteers host number 6 Florida on Saturday. The Gators, led by quarterback Kyle Trask and tight end Kyle Pitts, is one of the most potent offenses in the country. Volunteers and Gators, 3:30 in one of 2 SEC on CBS games on Saturday. Now, let's pry in, pry up, and shake the groove thing, baby. How can we do that? Yeah, simple. Hello. Thank you. Okay, it's 17 minutes after the hour of noonish. Not noonish, midnightish. Can this day get any better? Yes, it can, because now it's time to talk about the big news, big announcement. Long ago, as you know, Sinclair bought the 21 former Fox Sports regional networks and sold a little piece of them to Byron Allen's Allen Media Group. And they've been looking for some sort of rebranding. And while they did, they lost a buttload of pesos. And so they got a partner. Well, today, the partner, of course, was Bally's Casino. Well, now, kiddies, we happen to have that wonderment of wonderment. And hi there. Do we have the I think now do we have the fun, the fiesta? Oh yeah, we do. Yeah. Now they loaded up the presentation of how this is going to work. And friends, it's something to behold. And if we can do this proper like, if we can find it. Can we find it? I have a feeling yes, we will. Somewhere around here, they did put the, you're kidding. It's not in here, is it? Better be. Grr. We had the presentation up, and apparently that presentation is not amongst the living. Oh, yeah, it is. Here we are. Here we go. This is, okay, we're going to read to you the Baxley Sinclair Little Chemin de Fou presentation template. Just read a little bit or two of it. Baxley and Sinclair entering into a transformational media partnership between national leaders in sports broadcasting and omni-channel gaming. Sinclair is a diversified media company that owns a leading portfolio of regional and national sports rights and news assets, provides superior regional and national integration and content creation opportunities across Sinclair's linear and digital assets, capitalizes on new and attractive markets in a fast-growing U.S. sports betting and iGaming industry. Baxley's content to be integrated into Sinclair's broadcast stations and sports networks. The RSN portfolio, currently branded Fox Sports, will be rebranded using the Baxley name. Sinclair received warrants, some of which are performance conditioned, and options to own a minority stake in Baxley's. Now, the final configuration of a branding and logo will be announced sometime soon. Baxley's national footprint, by the way, not bad. 10 total states, 8 states with live sports betting. Let's rephrase. 10 total states, inclusive of pending acquisitions. 8 states with live sports betting. See, inclusive of pending acquisition. 14 casino properties plus 1 racetrack and 13 OTB licenses. Same statement, inclusive of pending acquisitions. 14 million database size based on best estimates and by management, including pending acquisitions. 16,000 slot machines. Approximate total represents current Baxley's footprint, inclusive of pending acquisitions. 550 table games. More than 3,900 hotel rooms. Think about some things here. And we'll just give you, like I said, we're giving you a little overview here. Overview of Sinclair Broadcast Group's 23 regional sports networks, regional sports network brands. Reflects unduplicated percentage of total U.S. households based on RSN and broadcast station coverage per Nielsen. Universe estimates includes Yes and Marquee, which are not included in the Baxley Sinclair partnership. They got 627 over-the-air channels, 88 broadcast TV markets, and about 70% of total U.S. households. And the RSN's Baxley Sinclair agreement includes 21 regional sports network brands, excluding Yes and Marquee. They are now known as Baxley Sports. The final configuration of the branding and logo to be announced. Of course, we all know the rest, including the tennis channel, stadium, and the digital stir. Now, the overview of Sinclair RSN's, the largest portfolio in the biz. 17 at the top 25 DMAs, over 4,600 professional sports games a year. That is, of course, for the year ending in 2019, excluding Yes and Marquee Networks. 10 years weighted average remaining life of sports rights, over 24,000 hours of new content a year. 17 NBA teams, 16 Major League Baseball teams, and 12 NHL teams. Exclusive home for live local broadcasts for more than half of the U.S., MLB, NBA, and NHL teams. The opportunity for customized messaging and exclusive integration within live game day coverage across the vast network. Pre-game, in-game, post-game opportunities. We can skip the overview of Sinclair's broadcast portfolio. Indeed, they are big. Overview of national networks, of course, tennis and the stadium network. Yeah, not bad. Here are the highlights of the partnership. It's a 10-year term. It's 10-year term with mutual options to extend. Bally's to integrate content into the 190 television stations that Sinclair owns, operates, or provides services to across 88 markets and its sports networks. Bally's will receive additional integrations into Tennis Channel and the Sinclair digital assets. Sinclair's stadium network and programming to integrate with the Bally name and content. The RSN portfolio, currently branded Fox Sports, to be rebranded using the Bally name. Over the term of the partnership, Sinclair's RSN portfolio will receive annual naming rights fees and committed percentage of Bally's interactive marketing spend. Sinclair Bally's to co-develop apps to create additional monetization opportunities and content offerings, and flexibility for Sinclair to further monetize its assets with other betting partners and for Bally's to grow with other media partners. The equity, well, that's a commercial agreement. Now, the equity, Sinclair will receive penny warrants granted at closing, additional penny warrants depending on certain performance metrics and options with strike prices ranging from $30 to $45. Unmatched coverage and local fan access. National, regional, and local linear and digital platforms provide unmatched ability for Bally's to customize marketing strategy to reach potential users. It's going to be wild. This is going to be a wild partnership. I'm going to say it. Looking at everything and anything, the highlights and such, I personally think this is going to be something to watch and to see. So there you go. A little bit of the presentation template of the Bally's partnership with Sinclair Broadcasting. It's going to be an incredible moment, folks. Some say it's a bad idea all around. I don't think so. I think this is going to be a good idea. And some would say that Sinclair botched this deal from the word go. It took them over a year to put together a plan to rebrand the FSNs, Fox Sports Nets. Pretty much pissed off all the streamers and everything else. The Brewers' current FSN deal apparently ran out. They're in a rock and a hard place because Sinclair also owns WVTV, CW, MyNet stations, and Weigel's WMLW is on a low-powered stick. Their literal only other move would be to the local Spectrum News 1. So, well, the deal will be renewed by default, but since the team's major sponsor is an area Native American casino and there's no sports betting in the state, well, that branding could be pushed back hard. Some out-of-state entity, Wisconsinites still associate more with pinball, fitness centers than gambling. That's at least one person's opinion. I'm going to say this. I think this is going to be a very interesting deal. Okay. We're at 12:29. Have we done what we're supposed to do for this finite broadcast here? Boy, oh boy, am I really stretching here? Yes, I am. I'm stretching. There, see? Stretching. But now, let's put it in another weird and noxiously cohesive way, if we can. I know we're about to coincide here, so we want to say the following of followings, folks. Come on, I need to take a look at the board, see where we go. Of course, we go to the scoreboard. I want to say hi to all my friends on Facebook, Twitter, and the Gram. And let's see, do we have? I think we've done it all. Yes, we did. Wow. We did it all today. So let's wrap things up with something rather unique. Yes, it's called scoreboard. Shall we? Let's shall. It's time for the scoreboard. Then time for us to say our vows of joy and happiness. Let's going as we bring you more scores. Put into triplicate. We'll try to be better tomorrow. We promise. By the way, Ravens, Steelers, 340, NBC TV. Not NBCSN, but NBC the network. So your local news will probably be preempted. Yay. In some cases. Okay, let's get to it. Let's get you soccer and basketball scores and some hockey. Yes, they still play hockey around the world. In the Champions League group stage, Salzburg against Lokomotiv Moscow. Salzburg wins 3-1. Shakhtar Donetsk defeated Real Madrid 2-0. Atalanta and Midtjylland tied at 1. Athletic Madrid and Bayern Munich tied at 1. Mönchengladbach lost to Inter 3-2. Porto and Manchester City tied at 0. Liverpool over Ajax 1-0. And Marseille over Olympiacos Piraeus 2-1. In basketball, in the Euro League, it was Lyon Villeurbanne over Pantelos 97-73. Olympia Milano over Alba Berlin 75-55. In Spain, Valencia over Barcelona 100-90. In hockey, in Sweden, Djurgårdens over Liechtensteins 3-0. Linköpings over Malmo 4-3. Rogel over HV 71 4-0. Luleå over Skellefteå 4-0. Växjö over Frölunda 8-0. In the Extraliga, Trinec over Sparta Prague 4-2. Ziln over Vitkovice 2-1. Mlada Bolslav over Litvinov 4-2. Plzeň over Liberec 6-3. Mountfield over Kometa Brno 6-2. Karlovy Vary over Olomouc 3-1. And in overtime, it was Pardubice over Cesc Bujovic 3-2. Finland, Hämeenlinna and Salpa were postponed. Lukko over IFK Helsinki 4-0. And Vasan Sport over Tepra 4-2. That was your scores. Your favorite scores. And that is the end of us here on this little program. And we thank you all for watching and participating and wishing us well. That's going to wrap it up. Thank you all for watching, caring, and just all in all, having a ball. Steve the Baxman Baxley, thank you for joining us. Back to the usual rants and everything tomorrow night at 11:30. Yes, we're also going to give you, hopefully, a football game tomorrow afternoon. Good luck to us all. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Steve the Baxman Baxley saying, may your favorite teams always be winners. Good night, America. Wherever and whomever you may be, this has been a presentation of Mr. Fine Creativity Productions in association with the L2C Media Network and L2C Sports. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll be better. We'll be funnier. We'll be weirder. In other words, we're going back to normal. Bye.